So as he said, I'm from NMDP, formerly Be the Match. And today I'm just gonna show you guys a slide deck about a little more information regarding what NMDP is, what we do, how you can help. If you're wanting to swab your cheek at the end of this, there's gonna be a way that I can show you how to get that swab kit sent to your home. So with that in mind, let's just get started. Okay, so we are in partnership with the UW. They're one of our most strategic college campuses. We do a lot of work with the UW through our campus chapter, through different groups. We work with Lambda, we're working with SAE, and CODA. There's lots of different ways that we're getting involved with the UW, and we're really just excited to have this opportunity with the whole U as well. So NMDP is a global nonprofit leader in cell therapy. So what we do is we facilitate stem cell transplants for patients that have over 75 different blood cancers and diseases that we can treat. So that's leukemia, lymphoma, sickle cell anemia, aplastic anemia. There's many, many different blood cancers and diseases that actually can be cured with a stem cell transplant. So we're facilitating those transplants. You can see here from our fiscal year 2022, we actually impacted over 7,000 lives in that year. And we had over 300,000 new people join the registry. And the reason that our prevalence rate is so high and why we need so many people to join the registry is out of all of those patients, only 30% of them end up having someone closely matched enough in their family to donate stem cells to that patient. So 70% of the time, these people are relying on our registry of unrelated donors to find them someone close enough in HLA tissue type to match with them and donate stem cells and hopefully save their life. So I am actually a donor. I got involved with NMDP because my dad actually needed a stem cell transplant. That's a picture of him and I. He had lymphoma and he actually got it twice. And so the second time, the chemo and radiation killed his bone marrow. So he needed to have the stem cell transplant to rejuvenate his bone marrow. And so I went through that whole process with him, helping take care of him and all of that. And going through that, I felt like, this is something that I might be able to do. This is something that I do have power over. If I get the call and I'm a match for someone else, I can say yes, and I can save that person's life. And a year later, I got the call that I was a match for a man in Germany with leukemia. And my dad came with me to my donation. You can see there, that was the day that I donated. And I was able to save this man's life in Germany. So it's really come full circle for me. And I'm just thrilled to have this career and this opportunity to help other people fulfill that. So the way that matching works, it has nothing to do with your blood type. We actually type your HLA tissue typing, and that's how we're doing the cheek swab. We're getting a sample of your cells, and then we send that to the biorepository, and they type your tissue. And HLA is similar to DNA. It's kind of the cousin of DNA. But it stands for human leukocyte antigen, and it's essentially the proteins that make up your cells. You are passed down your HLA tissue type genetically from your parents. So ethnicity does play a role in how matching works. And that also goes to show that there are some disparities in the registry. We are constantly trying to diversify the registry so that everybody has the same equal chance to survive these cancers and blood diseases. You can see here that only 9% of the potential donors that we have on our registry identify as ANHPI. So we are trying to increase that diversity. It's very important for us. And you can see here, this is one of our actual current searching patients, little Camilla. She is only 2, and she's looking for her match still. So, you know, these are real people at the other side of this thing. So if you're feeling inspired and you are thinking that you want to join the registry, you have to meet a few requirements. First off, you have to be between the ages of 18 and 40. I'll dive into that a little more in a moment. We need to have an address in the US or one of its territories or freely associated states. You also must be able to meet our medical guidelines. There's just certain blood disorders, cancer, certain things that would prevent someone from being able to donate. So if you're between 18 and 35, you have a better chance of being matched with a patient. Doctors are requesting donors in this age group 75% of the time. So the reason for that is younger cells are just more healthy, more robust. You know, our skin cells, our hair cells, things just change as we get older, and stem cells are no different. And this just kind of drills down into that a little bit more. And it's the reason that we're asking for donors to be within this age group most of the time is it provides better outcome for the patient. So there's less graft versus host disease when the cells are healthier and more robust. But there's a lot of other ways that people can help. And just because you might not be able to swab your cheek today doesn't mean that there aren't other things that you can do to help these patients. So let's say you are called up and asked to donate. 90% of the time, the process is going to be through PBSC, and 10% of the time, it's going to be through bone marrow. And with that PBSC, that stands for peripheral blood stem cells. And that was the way that I donated. 90% of the time, it's the way that someone will be asked to donate. So it's very similar to donating platelets or plasma. It's actually the same process. It's the same machine. It's just a different blood product that we're collecting, and that would be stem cells. It's a non-surgical outpatient process. You're totally feeling back to normal in 1 to 2 days. It requires 5 shots of a drug called filgrastim. It's once a day for the 5 days leading up to the donation. And filgrastim makes your bone marrow hyperproduce stem cells and suspend them into your bloodstream so that we can easily take them directly from your blood using this method. And then 10% of the time, you may be asked to donate bone marrow directly. And that is also an outpatient procedure. There's no pain felt during the donation. You're under general anesthesia. You go home the same day typically, and you're feeling totally back to normal in just 2 to 7 days. People have said that it feels like maybe you slipped and fell on the ice and hit your backside real hard. It's going to feel kind of bruised, but bruised, not broken, and you're feeling back to normal in a couple of days. Also interesting to note that most of the time when someone is asked to donate bone marrow, it's for one of those pediatric patients because they need the higher concentration of stem cells in their donation. And then also it costs nothing to donate. We are going to foot the bill for everything. For any medical costs leading up to the donation, any travel, any personal costs such as daycare, pet sitting, anything like that, as well as professional costs. So we even reimburse for salary and wage compensation. So we don't want anything to get in the way of someone being able to say yes when they find out that they're a match. We do have a donation center in Seattle, and all that they do is PBSC donations. They only have a couple of patients a day. So really they wait on you hand and foot. You're very comfortable and they're very good at what they do. So we're really lucky to be in a city that actually has an NMDP PBSC donation site. If you are asked to donate bone marrow, we typically have people donate in Washington, D.C. at Georgetown University. We just have a partnership with them, and they have a higher capacity to do more of these donations. And so over the entire process, from the moment you get that phone call saying you're a match to when you're recovered, the whole process takes between 20 to 30 non-consecutive hours spread out over 4 to 6 weeks. So we can also talk with employers, we can talk with family members, professors, anybody who needs a little more information on why you might need to miss certain obligations that you have. And the thing that's really important and what we really want people to understand is this commitment piece right here. So because it has so much to do with, you know, your ethnicity and your very unique tissue type, you could be the only match for a patient that's looking. So if you do get that phone call, we really want people that join the registry to be excited to get that call and to be excited to say yes. So it's kind of more quality over quantity. And we just really want folks joining the registry to think seriously about it and understand what this commitment is. So here's another one of our searching patients. Her name's Trish. She goes by Mama G. That's her on the right in the photo. She was diagnosed with a bone cancer in 2021 after 21 years of fighting a different cancer. So she's really been through the ringer. And if we can get her a stem cell transplant, then she has a chance at living a normal life and, you know, spending more time with her daughters and getting to be a grandma and things like that. So, you know, again, these are real people on the other side of that phone call. And then here's another one of our donors. She joined when she was going to college. Most of our registry members that we're recruiting are college age, just so that they can be on the registry longer. And so she was a little, well, she was excited to join, but she did have to do a little more research because she's a nursing student. And so she was able to donate though, and said that donating at the NMDP PBSC site was like really incredible. She said they kiss the ground you walk on and they make sure that everything is running smoothly. So no worries about you know, them not being able to find a vein or whatever. They are very, very good at what they do. And the whole process to donate PBSC the day of just takes about 3 hours typically. Sometimes it can take a little longer, just depending on the donor and how much is needed for the patient. But it's typically around 3 hours and you're all comfy in a bed. We've got Netflix up on the screen for you. You have a companion with you. That is something that I forgot to mention in the slide about cost, is we also pay for someone to join you. So we'll even cover their wage compensation as well. So if any of this resonates with you and you're ready to join, there are some steps that I will go through here. But first, I would just want to pause and ask if anybody has any questions. Feel free to unmute and fire away.
I have a question, Sarah Rose.
Yeah.
Um, so I think you might have mentioned it already, but for the way 90% of people donate, is it painful? I mean, it seems like it isn't since you're just, it's like almost like a blood donation. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like donating platelets or plasma. So, you're going to feel a little pinch when they insert the needle. You have a needle coming out of one arm that's taking your whole blood, spinning it through the machine behind you. It's a centrifuge that's going to whip out the stem cells and deposit those into a bag. And then you simultaneously in the other arm get back all of your red and white blood cells. So you do have a needle in each arm. And because the process does take around 3 hours, it can feel kind of uncomfortable. Your arms might get kind of sore, but again, they will take really good care of you. They have tips and tricks to help keep you comfortable.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'll just move on here. So the steps to join the registry are very simple. You just scan this QR code on the screen, or if you don't have scanning capabilities on your phone, you can text UW whole U, all one word, to 61474, and that will just text you back a link to the same URL that you would have gotten to by scanning. So once you get to that registration page, you'll scroll to the bottom of that first page and confirm your age. And then that opens up the registration for you. There's a few questions that you go through on there. I think there's about 7 or 8 screens. And then you'll e-sign a consent and you'll get to a screen that talks about the actual swab kit. And then when you arrive to that screen, there's 2 options there. One is to swab with a kit today, and one is to have a swab kit shipped to you. Um, we do host donor drives in person a lot on campus. So, if you'd rather wait and come see us in person, you can do that. But we also have the option to just ship it straight to your house. So you would select that today, and then it'll confirm your address. And it takes just a couple weeks for that to arrive. And then you just get that in the mail, you open it up, and you swab your cheeks. It's just 10 seconds on each side, on the inside of your cheek. And then you put that back in the kit, seal it up in the prepaid envelope, and just pop it back in the mail. It takes a few weeks for the biorepository to type your tissue, but you'll receive a confirmation once you have been added to the registry. After you get through the registration process, you'll be prompted to create an NMDP account. This is really an important step because it's definitely not an afterthought. We want to be able to keep in touch with you, keep up our communication, remind you to update your information, let you know when you're on the registry, let you know different opportunities to help, whether it be volunteering. We also have legislative advocacy that you can be connected to. So there's a lot of resources if you create this account. So we definitely encourage people to just finish this one last piece after the registration. So that's pretty much my presentation. This QR code goes to that same registration screen if you missed it before. You can also feel free to take down my contact information and reach out anytime if you have a question about anything, or if you want to get involved with volunteering. We are always looking for more people that can help us.